Good morning. Hello. In keeping with what I've been trying to do, I'm going to deal with current events. And the current event that is really so pressing throughout the world and we're having so much trouble with is borders. People think that it would be heavenly not to have borders, but there's a border around heaven. You can't just get in and do whatever you want there. So, how do they get this idea that there are no borders? Hmm. God gave us this land, He gave us this planet, He gave us this creation so that we could judge ourselves. He gave us the ability to recreate heaven here if we would. But we got to think seriously about what that means. That means that every individual is responsible. Hmm. Not something that you can dictate to somebody or you can give to somebody. It's something that they have to do for themselves. Therefore, we divided ourselves into tribes or groups, countries, nations, and every one of them needed a border in order to protect the people that are in that nation from people who are out of that nation and who may not agree with your values, with your sense of what is right and what is wrong. They don't care. They don't care about you. They don't care about your borders. But other people try to beat each other up, trying to again show how they have dominance because they get to tell us how we should live and how we should feel and how we should think. So, anyway, every country has borders, even heaven. And every country has the right to defend itself. Try sneaking into heaven. I bet you that ain't going to happen. Anyway, the point of this is that today there is so much that goes on outside your country and inside your country. But if you want to create heaven, it's going to have to come from within, not from without. You are going to have to live like you're in heaven. And as I'm pointing out, heaven has borders. We have borders. Honor them, respect them. There are rules. They don't need to be beat into you because you accepted them when you got to heaven. Otherwise, you didn't get there. The same thing here. The rules of this nation or the laws of this nation are important. If you want to be here, then you have to obey those laws. And breaking the law to get in is not an excuse. Now, one of the reasons this goes on is because not everybody is willing to take responsibility for what they do. All they want is something better, but they don't want to do the work that makes it better. Take the third world, what we call third world countries, or other countries that allow their governments to abuse their people. They allow gangs to exist. They allow murderers to run around, and they even support them and sometimes finance them. And yet, these are the kind of people you want to bring into this country. I don't know how you're supposed to make it better by doing that. But there are people who will try to hold you morally responsible for other people. And it doesn't work. It can't work. God gave each of you the right to choose. Now, if you will bind together with your brethren, people in your country, and say no more, then no more. The way to do that in this country is through your vote. Unfortunately, some countries don't have that. It's a shame, but it is what people allow. Don't allow evil to exist in your country. Evil means not paying it, not giving any attention to the laws. Evil means separation. It divides the country. It weakens it. If your political party is dividing the country, then you're supporting evil. And neither one of them are doing all that great a job. That's why I'm an independent, and I expect and I hope that all of you will be independents. Because you don't need somebody else to tell you what you know in your heart is right. And that's the only one that you're going to be answerable for, is what you know in your heart. If you believe what other people tell you, that heaven has no borders, try to sneak into it. If you believe that heaven has no laws, try to go there and break them and see what happens. I think you'd be a little amazed at what you're going to find. Yes, we have the opportunity to recreate heaven here. Are we willing to do the work and to honestly live the life that's required in order to live in heaven? One of the basics of that life is that we hold each other accountable to how we judge ourselves. And we judge ourselves as worthy or not worthy to be in heaven. If you're not worthy, then the rest of heaven will reject you, and that's what happens. That's what's going to happen here. Now, people try to make that morally wrong, but that's not morally wrong. Holding you accountable to how you judge yourself is the only morality that is correct. Because no one else is judging you. You are judging yourself. All they're doing is holding you to how you judge yourself. That's reality. That is justice. You choose what happens to you. That's what God gave you this place. He gave you the opportunity to choose what's going to happen to you. Choose the land you're going to live in and how you're going to either obey the rules of that land or not. And he expects the rest of the people in that land to reject and to exclude all of those who have no willingness to agree to live in a heavenly state, to obey the laws, to help each other, to give to each other. Now, we can't be held responsible for other countries. That's true. And yes, there are people in those countries that have the right to rise up and say, no, you will not govern us this way. You will not kill our children. You will not allow gangs to run free. You will not do these things that are harmful to everyone. The other countries, they can either assist people who are trying to make their lives better, or they can choose to assist the governments that oppress the people. There are some governments out there that may be different. There are different forms. But still, it is a question of how you recreate heaven. It doesn't matter how they do it. The bottom line is they need to look after all of their people. They need to look after special needs people, widows, children. They need to do that. And you need to hold them responsible for doing that. That doesn't mean you can do it and give it to them, because it doesn't work that way. It'll never work. There is not enough in the world that can give them what they want. Value comes from within you. It doesn't come from without. The whole concept of countries are that they can print monetary value, which is an approximation of what you should value. And by controlling your money, they think they can control you. It's not true. You can let it be true, but it's not true. You can make it part of your life, but it's not going to make your life better. I'm talking about God. I'm talking about people. I'm talking about how we violate ourselves. I wish that I could let you see and give you the sight that I have seen, so you would know that yes, you can build heaven here. God gave you that much. He loves you just like we love our children. He doesn't want you to come here and destroy yourselves or hurt your children. He doesn't want that. But he gives you the right to choose to do that. But by doing that, you'll never enter that heaven. You won't. And there is a wall around it. There is a border to it. You can't go into it. I know you think I'm just talking about metaphorical things, but that's not true. Look in your heart. Is there an end to you? Do you have a border? What happens when it's violated by disease? And yet you still have to defend your border. Look at your heart. Your heart knows and believes in what's really right. You may mentally and scholastically believe that it's right that what everybody owns should be yours and that nobody owns anything, it's everybody's. But it doesn't work that way, because not everybody puts the work in to create it. And without the work, it is meaningless, it is worthless. A country whose finances reflect their country, and if the country abuses people and ruins people, it will be destroyed. And when it's destroyed, is their money worth anything? No. So I'm telling you, listen to your heart. Be kind to each other. Be kind to yourself. But hold each other accountable. It's not your scale that matters, it's theirs. I love you. I hope you have a great day. See ya. Bye.